Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? So as you can see, yesterday we started to get a little bit of interesting movement from the market. And the big thing was to see when are we going to have the dominance reverse, when are we going to have it shift, and when is it going to go into altcoins? And basically what we came down to was we needed a catalyst. And what that catalyst for me was that shakeout event. You know, we've just seen that the longs are literally 5 to 7 times more than the shorts right now, which is crazy. So it's just showing how the FOMO is getting to everyone in the market right now, and everyone is basically long. And what with this comes liquidations, it comes a lot of leverage, and they're going to want to make quick money at some point. And to be honest, we actually need that. We need that quick shakeout, and that shakeout for us can bring the flip in dominance and then have the true altcoin run. We spoke yesterday about this chart over here, where we have the total 3 still way behind where Bitcoin is on the emotion chart, and it's basically indicating that there's still another strong leg explosion to the upside from the altcoins. We just need that dominant shift. Now, the big thing I want to talk about in the show is I want to speak about Bitcoin starting to lose this uprising wedge trend over here. And could this be the early signs to start that quick pullback? Because we started to see it from Ethereum. And the big thing is not only are we starting to get a little bit of weakness from Bitcoin over here showing the pullback, we're also getting the dominance, which spiked up last night again, which is great. And what we said yesterday was if the market started to pull back, we're expecting the dominance to have one more little push up. Reason being is we've been waiting for it to get to the critical area of the 618. And that's basically the big area where we have the 618 and the 786 with the dominance. And it's showing us a point of area of where we can start to see a strong rejection. And this is the leg ultimately that we are waiting for within the altcoins to have that big explosion. Dominance for me is still in an uptrend, but ultimately this push over here will get us the altcoin move that we have been waiting for. So far, I've been patient with you guys. I've been telling you guys, take profits, just be careful. I know we've all been wanting longs, but finally we started to get to the point where our pullback is starting. We're seeing the altcoins. Now we can start focusing on sniping that entry. I said it, that we needed to wait for the first leg to make sure. High time frames, we broke all the structures. Now it's time to come and start getting the next entries for the next move. I have 2 or 3 shorts for you guys as well. And then what I have is a live trading session that's happening straight after this. And you're going to find that in Discord. Straight after the show, we're jumping on for a quick live trading session to show you the trades that I've taken. And it's going to be a massive show. No more wasting time. James, hit the button.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗄𝗡𝗫. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗄𝗡𝗫. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? How are we doing? Pop in the comments. How are you feeling today? I want to ask the big question. Did you take profits? Did you take profits? Tell me in the comments, did you take profits? Are you getting used to the mindset that we're going to be here for a while? The market's just come off a crazy 75% drop within the last year, and we are going to range for a while. So taking those great profits on the way up and buying the great specials on confirmation is the way we should be trading this year. It's something that we want to become, is those consistent traders. So tell me in the comments, profits. Yes, 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 yes. Some said no. What was it, guys? What was it? Like, why did you not take the profits just yet? Is it that FOMO? Guys, control it. Control it, control it, control it. But I have good news for you. We still have an altcoin rally to come, and we're going to work our butts off now on getting the next major entries. Because if we have a look at the market cycle, it shows maybe, I'm not here to be a crazy bear, but one more major altcoin push, and then maybe depression. Maybe. First thing, smash the subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel. Smash the like button. Smash it, guys. Please hit that like button. It doesn't take a lot of effort. The more likes you push, I promise the more trades I'll get. And it's going to be a great year for us. Remember, we have the two major Rolexes. We have this beautiful one over here. And we have this beautiful one over here. This one is for Bitget. This one is for ByBit. We are giving away someone. I know RUNE gave away one yesterday, and the person didn't claim it in time. It was actually a guy that tried to scam us. You know, he sent a screenshot or something, and we went to ByBit, and we made sure, and he wasn't even a user of the link. So they are still available, and there's a third one actually. So if you go below in the description, you will find the ByBit and the Bitget Rolex. If you sign up with this exchange link, and you take trades there, qualifies you for an entry. The more trades you take, the more entries you get. And we are giving away these Rolexes before the end of February, and it can come at any moment, guys. Then what we have, which is a big one that I want to explain to you guys, is Discord. Now we have the VIP section. Now I started live trading a while ago, and the biggest problem we had was bigger guys trying to play with our communities, as well as people front running and all these sort of things. So we decided to finally get it all sorted. And the VIP on Discord has all of your exchanges, and we're actually able to track to see if there's any foul play happening there. And it's a place where I can actually do proper live trading with you guys and not have the trouble. You know, anyone that tries to make trouble there, you know, that's something we want to get above. So if you sign up with OKX, Binance, Bitget, or ByBit, you can get into the VIP. And straight after the show, I'm jumping on a live trading. I'm jumping on. You can only get the link in Discord. Now, do me a favor, guys. This is for the people that are part of the Sniper community. So the Banter community, don't share the link. Don't share the link. I'm asking you nicely. Do not share the link. We saw how quickly the last ones blew up. So don't share the link, but come join me. You're going to find it under the Sheldon the Sniper section, and you're going to find it under the Sheldon Shows updates, as well as the trades. We're going to be putting all in there. Keep eyes there on Discord, because as soon as I go live, you guys are going to get involved. And the way it's going to work, just before I get into the charts, is it's basically going to be 30-minute, 40-minute shows where I'm going to go through the trades. I'm going to take the trades, I'm going to explain them, and then we're jumping off. And my goal with that is, instead of doing 4-hour shows, I'd rather do more often 30 minutes live trading. When something happens, and instead of us staring and waiting, we're going to take the trades, jump off. When something happens, jump back in, and we're going to basically run that. So make sure you got your alerts set on that as well. Cool. Let's jump in. Now, let me give you my views on Bitcoin right now. So as it speaks, we do have Bitcoin now on the 4-hour starting to lose trend, right? Something we've been waiting for this little shakeout. Now, we have two views of this. Firstly, it's an uprising wedge, and it's showing just a slight loss of momentum. So we can see that very clearly as we speak. And ultimately, what we knew is, if you look at the daily on Bitcoin, we just had this continuous amount of green. Where was the quick shakeout? At any point, lots of leverage in the market now, many people longing, lots of FOMO. When is that going to start to come? And ultimately, that's why we're just tracking. So for me, technically, this should be the part where we should start the little bit of the pullback. Now, the pullback from this area is where I see us having the opportunity of catching the altcoins that we missed, and also having the turn of the dominance throughout that time. So my major areas that I'm looking at, and this is the first scenario of currently what I'm seeing, is basically us breaking out of this wedge to the downside. And I'm seeing this. I'm seeing us now, if not the retest is already done, maybe there's a slight more upside for the retest, but basically between 22,800 and 29,000 is the resistance level. And chart-wise, we should be looking at something like this. Now, I'm not looking at the very bearish scenario. I'm looking at the short-term pullback, okay? Something, because it kind of seems that Bitcoin's just strong right now, and it's not losing too much. So I'm not speaking about the 19.5, which is the 200-day moving average. That's a possibility. Let's start with step one. And step one basically shows us here that from here, we make our way up to this area. Then what we do is we get rejected, and we basically make our way down to 21,500. I think a little move like this is enough to turn the dominance, which I'll go through now shortly. And for me, this would be the area of where I'm going to start looking for some altcoin setups, and where I can actually buy into the altcoins. Now, when this happens, we got time every day, and I'm still doing shows every day, is when we get this top in here and we do confirm the lower low, we make our way down. there's going to be a beautiful momentum trend that I'm going to put in that area. And we will soon find out, is this the area? Is it the 21 or is it the 20? So we're going to track it down and we're going to make sure we catch it when the momentum shifts from the downside. But we can't deny that we are starting to see a little bit of a push. Now, for me, this is scenario one. Okay. Then the next thing. So just to explain this quick, I have personally taken a Bitcoin short time frame. Remember, the market is bullish. It does pop at any point, but for me, short-term short on Bitcoin, and it is in the area between 22,650 and the 22,900 area. And then my stop is above this area, which is basically the 23,200. And that for me basically is around about a 1 to 2% sort of stop loss. And this is why. So right now I do see bearishness. I do see slight little bit of momentum. But then what I have as well, and I need to zoom out and look at it on the other side, which is the bullish scenario, which is us busy building a bullish flag. And you can see over here, okay, opening long so long. Fantastic. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Either you're going to make money or I'm going to make money. That's all that matters. But if you have a look over here, you can see that we are forming this bull flag. And for me, it's very similar to the area over here. If we do break this resistance, then I see us making our way up. Now, I still see more upside from Bitcoin. I do see it going towards $24,500 and $25,000, which is this next target area over here. So I still think that gets hit on this run because market cycle wise, it makes sense. It makes sense that we do go to the areas over here. Let me jump into Bitcoin. And if we look at the emotion cycle of what I spoke about yesterday, it makes sense that we should make our way to this area over here. And that is the previous area between 24,000 and 25,000. And if we have a look again at the market cycle, it makes sense that this area gets very near there. You can start to see the slight resemblance of that. And we got to basically be prepared and trade like this is going to happen. We will then get if we break any trends there, no problem. We can trade in from there. But for right now, we have to prepare for the worst at any point because then we're prepared. You know, I'd rather miss some trades to the upside, but not get caught in the big dumps that come at any point. Then vice versa, there's always time for us to move. So the reason why I'm taking that short is because we are losing the areas that I can. And then my stop loss is above this wedge. So at any point, what happens where this basically makes its way, push up over here, it will retest. And for me, if it's stopped there, no problem. I'm going long, put stop there, and I'm chasing the next move to the upside. So that's just on the Bitcoin. Now let's jump into Ethereum, because Ethereum now is starting to show a little bit of downside. Now, we are not guaranteed this retest. We are not. But this is sort of how I would like to see this play with Ethereum. We've had this uprising wedge right now, which we can see. But we saw that as soon as Ethereum lost that wedge over there, look all of a sudden how we start this big pullback to the downside. Now, maybe there's an opportunity of a retest, which comes basically back to around 1,600. And that ultimately can be either a slight offload area if you need the money and you got ETH and these sort of things, or it's a slight smaller short-term short through the areas. But ultimately, I am waiting for the target and the entry of $1,400. 1,400, there is even slightly lower of 1,350. These are the areas where I'm expecting this move. Now, we're not guaranteed this little push up. It could go straight from here to those areas. It could definitely. Okay, but that is ultimately the first little play that I would like to see play out. But for those who've been looking at ETH and wanting to load up, for me, this is the zone, because after that, if I look at the bullish scenario of where ETH is right now and where it can go to next, this is the momentum, the current momentum that ETH is moving down in. And for me, I got a lot of time until I have the area of where I can actually buy this. So what it's showing me here is there's still some time until we do get a breakout from ETH. And for me, in this area over here, I'm expecting the lower targets. But if this makes its way here, down there, at some point, we're going to have this break. And when we have this major resistance break over here, I'm expecting ETH to go to the next higher targets, which is 1,800 to 1,850. That's the next bigger trade that I want to get from ETH. We still have the BTC to ETH looking strong, and we have the dominance as well. Remember, this stuff might shift maybe in 3 days. The chart showing maybe a little bit lower for entry. That's why you got to watch every day. Very important. But for now, I have a game plan for ETH. It's still very much weak right now. We're very far from momentum, and I'm allowing it for more downside to actually come. Now, let's quickly speak, before I do jump into the altcoins, let's actually speak about the dominance. So dominance is a big one. So if we look at dominance, we have two possible plays here. And the first play is the pullback has started. And it did make sense to me that when the pullback started, that dominance would keep going up. So if you have a look today, I'm sure you can pretty much see that altcoins are getting a lot more hurt than what Bitcoin is. It does make sense. But what I'm basically seeing from here is we are getting to the first critical area, which is the 618. And then we have one more possibility where this dominance decides to continue a little bit more. And what that basically intends and means for me right now is the altcoins are making the faster pullback now and these sort of areas, which makes me think that Bitcoin isn't going to pull back too much. That's why I'm thinking the 21.5, 21.6 area. And then when we have the Bitcoin bounce, that's when I'm expecting the dominance to have the push down and have the next momentum push. Now, for me, this move over here can be big. A 5% down in dominance can get these tokens much higher and back to the levels that we want to see them. That can get Ethereum to 1.8. That can get to Solana to $30. So if you want to have a little bit of an idea of where this next altcoin push can go, I'm probably expecting the next leg to be between a 30, 40, 50% from these altcoins. Some will do slightly more in that time. So I'm focused on where we can get those really strong ones. Now, let's actually jump into some of these trades over here. If you look at Solana, this is still one. So remember, guys, you have two options when it comes to crypto. You don't have to be a risky trader. You don't have to be a high leverage trader, but you do need to learn how to short if you want to trade the market all the time. If you only know one way, which is longing, it's fine. You got to wait 3 more days, and possibly you have the opportunity to get your longs and get the areas because we only started losing momentum now. But if you know how to short, you have a trade today. You have a possible few trades, which I'm going to give to you guys. So you want to learn, you don't have to use high leverage. You can use a 1x on the futures exchange and it's no liquidation at all. So you have an option. But the way I'm seeing it here is I do have the 2 momentum lines. The first 2 plays that I'm looking at is for Solana. Is this for me was still the one that, because it shot up, think about it. It went from $8 all the way to 26. You have a token that's done 200, 300% in that time. And a 30% retracement makes sense. So for me as a trader and a shorter, I was waiting for this one for a very long time to happen. And the way I see that playing out is it's not in the thing just yet. But basically, when we lose this momentum trend over here, I have the play of a break, a retest, and down to those areas. This is one that I want to hopefully do another live trading session tomorrow, that this one could be ready, but be ready anyway in case. And then what you can see is I have the momentum bullish line. Now, for me, it never got to the high. 26 for me wasn't the main resistance. The main resistance was between 28 and 30. So for me, this move over here, for me, wasn't topped out for Solana just yet, which means I think there's still more upside to come. The best trade for me is getting it at $17 and riding it up to 29. Now we're looking at a good 70, 80%. And that ideally is the only time I'm interested in Solana for now. But I do have this momentum line. And if it does decide to break this trend at any point, then we could possibly flip for a small or long. But then the gains aren't that big. I'm looking at a 15, 20%. For now, it still stands that this leg over here, I'm looking at catching the first target of $17 to $18 Solana. And I have a secondary target, which is $14 for Solana. So because the tokens that went bigger on this run, the ones that did 100, 200, 300%, I'm expecting them to have the 30% pullback. The tokens that did a 40% growth, I'm expecting a 10% pullback on those. And I'll show you a few of them, for example, now. So just remember, tokens, if they're in a bigger range, it means the pullbacks will be bigger. Have that understanding of the range that the tokens are actually in. So Solana is an example of a higher range. Remember, all of these charts, you get them on the show charts on Discord, guys. All of these charts, you will find them there. So you don't have to struggle to try see it on the show. Then there's a possible short as we speak. Possible. It is slightly a little bit higher risk. But remember, if you don't want to short, don't short. No problem. No problem at all. But prep for the longs. Because if you look at DOT now for me was catching big momentum, breaking a long trend line. And for me, the areas of where DOT gets to now is 5.5. And that for me is the area of where I want to buy. Now we're going to dip our toes at those areas. And we're going to buy the break of trend to the upside when we get there. But if you are prepping, DOT should be on your radar. I still think it's a big one because it never hit my target, which was the first one of 7 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕, which is the main resistance. And then there's the next target, which is around $9 to $10. So for me, there's still a lot of upside within DOTs, and it's still great money that you can make trading DOTs throughout these times. If you are a shorter, okay, and you believe in this, because what we did is we lost short-term momentum. We broke this, and now we're currently around the area of retest. You have an option now. The 4-hour RSI is hitting the bottom. So don't be surprised if you do see a small little push up from the market today. And that's why I was expecting Bitcoin to possibly go a little bit higher than where we were. But if it does respect this trend line over here and it doesn't get past that, for me, this is an area for a short-term short to this area down over here. And remember what I said, DOT only started waking up recently. It didn't do what Solana did. And therefore, these are the tokens that I'm expecting to have a 10% drop. Solana, I'm expecting a 30%. This I'm expecting a 10%. So ultimately, for the guys that are looking for longs, you're looking at getting 10% more DOT by buying it at this area. That's the benefit of getting it cheaper. And those that are looking for a nice, smaller risk trade, we have this right now just broken over here. And I'm looking at putting my stop slightly just above that. And another way that you can do this is if you jump to the 1 hour, what you will see now, this is where it gets fun, guys. If you have time to trade within the day, is what you actually want to wait for is you want DOT to come here, and then you want it to go up again to this trend. And then what you want to do is you want to put this trend line in here. And only when we break that trend is when you trigger your short and you put your stop loss above that high over there. So it gives you security to make sure that if it goes through, if you take it now, there is the possibility of the stop. But if you put that trend line in and we break that, that should be it. And ultimately, then what you're looking at is only not even a 1% of risk for a 10% reward. That's a 1 to 10. So that's really good on that. But ultimately, you can see I'm looking at DOT make its way 10% throughout those, through the next pullback. You look at one like RUNE. So what I'm trying to show you here is many of the tokens are starting to lose momentum and trends. And for me, the pullback on the altcoins have started. And for me, same thing. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕's done well, but there's still 10, 11% until the next buys for me. Let's look at MATIC. Same thing. Look how we've lost momentum now. I'm looking at a 7 to a 8 to a 10% pullback from MATIC. The targets after that are a lot higher. The one for me for MATIC after this is around 1.2 to 1.3. So the upside growth from here is really big. From these areas here, 30, 40, 50% through those areas. But you can see very much clearly now that the market is starting to pull back pretty strongly. I saw Mama Sniper got a great short on THETA. We took some profits around this area this morning, and we're looking for the retest. But THETA, guys, I seriously think THETA around 72 cents is going to be great for the next long. That long for me is looking at around about the 1.3 to the 1.4. So gain-wise, 30, 40%. Now, let's speak about this token that's not stopping right now. It's still looking pretty strong, which is Fantom. Now, I know Harry's speaking and many things are happening today. But if you are a Fantom holder, things are looking pretty good right now. And it's quite crazy to see that it did hit a crazy major resistance, but holding pretty good right now. If you have a look. And what's nice about Fantom is I do think the pullback, I'll speak about a pullback in a second, but look that it's got one more major resistance at 50 cents. And then it's got that huge gap, the road to recovery, the one that can get us back to $1. So Fantom, like I said previously, is still one of my favorable tokens. They're still one that I really think has one of the max gains and one that you can really kill it with over the next few months. And what I'm seeing here on the short time frame is we are losing slightly short time frame momentum. But if Bitcoin does bounce, it is likely that it will continue possibly to the next 50. But what I'm seeing here is basically I'm waiting for the retest of this momentum. And I don't think it's going to go. I was thinking 27 cents previously. I think Fantom goes around 35 cents. And for me, what that will create over here is will create a secondary high. Remember, guys, it's very simple. Once we've made our way up and we've start to make our way down and we've given ourselves the two major lines, that's the one that you track. And for me, once that's created, I now have the downwards momentum and it can give me the shoot. But the main thing that I know now is Fantom's next target's in a good place. It's in an area where I can make decent profits. It's all about risk to reward right now. That's what's going to make the difference between good traders and weak traders this year, is the risk to reward, understanding which token to move to when. Very important to understand, and that's probably the biggest gainer. Now, the one that you're going to have a slight opportunity for a trade today when the market starts to pull back, what I'm seeing with Bitcoin, and let's actually go back there 2 secs, is if you look at this little move here, I think it takes a little bit of time to get to these areas. But as soon as we start to drop this low, I think it's going to speed up pretty quickly. I think at any point, we're going to have a very fast wick. So if you do get the correct short entries, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. You've got to survive the stop loss, but then I think you're going to have a quick payday. We know how quick the market moves to the downside when it wants to move to the downside. What do they say? The bulls climb the stairs and the bears jump out the window. So true. We work so hard for our gains when the market's going up, and it literally just turns quickly at any point. And if you look at Cardano, this is looking pretty good. Now I have this play over here, which is basically we lose this trend. For me, I can start to dip my toes. And from that, a slight retest. But then I'm seeing Cardano make its way down to around 29 cents. Cardano was one that started waking up pretty quick. So for a shorter, 10 to 15%. But for a longer, I'm waiting between 29 and 30 cents. And after that, I'm looking at Cardano, make its way to the higher targets of 41 cents. And then I have the higher regions of the 60-cent mark, which for me, I think Cardano possibly gets on the next push. And that's a huge 70, 80% trade. So what you're doing right now is you're looking at the tokens that you're expecting the bigger pullbacks, and then you're looking at where's the next major target and risk to reward of where we're getting these tokens at those times. And you can see very clearly that DOT is a big one. MATIC's a big one. Many of these, I won't go crazy on many little altcoins and stuff like that yet. You can make money. I said I only have 3 micro caps, and that was Nakamoto, Scallop, and PBX. And I'm literally dollar costing in those for the next few months. I'm waiting for that next year. I think small caps later on in the year or next year is when we really get the small caps. So keep your tokens a bit small right now. And like I said, split your portfolio to what you're leaving until the end of next year and what money you need right now. And I hope you guys did take profits. I saw many people did take profits. So I'm very proud of you for doing that. Let's speak about DYDX. I did give you guys this token too. And, many times I still remember I have some entries that are around 2.2, 2.3. I see it's coming back to life. I can finally go and protect those. But I gave you guys these trades over here in 1.2, 1.3, and I showed you guys this range. Right now, it's not a buy. I'll give the buyers of where I think it is a good buy next. But ultimately, if you're a DYDX holder, we do have a possibility of this making its way. I saw Run was even saying, I don't have enough. I want to maybe get some more, things like that. But this does have the opportunity of still making to around 2.7, which is pretty big. If we have to have a look now, currently from where we are, 55%. It's a bit risky to end now. It's too risky now because you're nearly in the middle of the channel. But for those who are holding, I think you're going to have a good rally from DYDX here. I would offload here. I would get out. I'll definitely get out and take my profits, because I think if you look at a token like this, I think it's going to do this for a while. And there's going to be many times for you to farm a lot of the DYDX and many times to make money on it too. The next one, so you can see all the altcoins are pretty much showing the same thing right now, same as VET. As soon as we lose this momentum line is where I see the acceleration of the downside. So we can see very much now, this should be the pullback, guys. This should be the one that finally gets us to the areas of having that dominant switch to the downside. So pay attention. If you missed all of a sudden Cardano or any of the trades that I've just given you have dropped and you've missed it, you got to find the one that's still new. You know what I mean? One that's still structured for you. Small risk, big reward. Now, pop in the comments, guys. What do you want? What tokens would you like me to see? Let's have a look. Render. Render's a big one. So I spoke about, I think Render 2-3 weeks ago, and I saw the guys were actually speaking about it this morning, that it's looking pretty good. Oh man, USDT. There we go. Okay. Let's jump into Render. Let's have a look. Wow, looking good. Coming back to live. Are we going where are we at right now? So Render definitely looking strong as we speak. Let's have a look at this at a higher time frame. Oh, just getting going. Looking really good. It is probably getting to a slight resistance point. Be very aware of that. We are getting to these zones, so don't be shy or anything like that of slight rejection. But render only gets really bullish when it gets above $1. You know, then we start getting 2.2 to these higher areas and these higher zones. So right now, not just there just yet, but I would hold strong. I think it looks good. The only time I'm buying is around 50 to 60 cents. So render, definitely not yet. What's our next target over here? Okay, cool. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫. I did go through 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫, guys. Let's look at the next one. Do you guys believe like this pullback? What do you think? You think the market's just going to pump at any point? Are you bullish, you bearish? I'm short-term bearish for really bullish next leg to the upside. Okay, let's look at Link. Go through Chainlink. Also a big token that I think is going to do really well. I really do think Chainlink is also a really nice one for you guys to be a part of. Let's clean up here so I can chart for you guys quickly. Guys, you know, many may say lots about trading. I chose to make it simple, so it's very much easy to understand. So Chainlink at the moment, for me, didn't stop at the major high. So I don't think it's a token that's going to pull back too much. I'd probably say the 6.3 is the more buying sort of areas. I wouldn't short it, guys. I wouldn't short it just yet. I really wouldn't. It's not a token to short, in my opinion. The only areas that I'm looking at possibly buying is, around about the early $6 is where I'll be buying. If you want to speak about upside, you know, it's got this one more resistance at 7.6. And then next, you got close to $10. So there's definitely upside from Chainlink. It's just not a shortable token for me. It's not structured enough. It looks a little bit too bullish. And I don't want to take that chance on that. Let's go through AVAX. I hope you guys are asking me these tokens for TP areas. So AVAX, this one's good. And this is where I basically drew this last one. So AVAX for me is still strong, but it will be a big short at some point, definitely. Because what we can see over here is you basically got it slowly grinding to the upside. Remember what we just saw from Bitcoin. The slow momentum to the upside, slowly grinding up, which is looking good, but it is showing that it's getting to a point where you're starting to see some wicks. And when you start to see some wicks, very similar to this area over here, you know, starting to show lots of momentum, slow down within the market. So what I would expect from here is if we actually look at the higher time frame, you know, yes, there is the next higher point, and this support is what gives us that. As long as we hold this momentum, there's still more upside for AVAX. The next target is $20. And if we look after that, you know, you're looking at $21, $22. So you have the next two major areas for now. But as soon as we start to lose this wedge, would be the area of me dollar costing out, taking some profits, getting out of the market at these areas, and a possible good short, because I still think there's better entries for AVAX, and those better entries for me are between $13 and $14. And when we decide at any point to lose this, I am expecting a very fast retracement at some point, and that is where I want to buy it. I don't want to buy it anywhere where we are right now. I want to buy 20% cheaper, because this move for me was fake, and I think they're going to come full the imbalance in these areas at some point. You know, this is a fake move. This is a FOMO move. Get everyone to FOMO in, because guess what? The guys were buying here, right? They were loading up AVAX. Let me show you a little story of what candles and stuff teach you. Here they were loading up. No interest, no interest, no interest. Then what they do is they start this candle that breaks the trend. All of a sudden, starts to bring a lot of interest, and people start buying in here. And then you got all the people that are FOMOing now. Well, AVAX is going to go to the moon. It's going to go big, go big. This is not the big guys. Why do you see these huge red candles? Look here. Look how big this wick is here. Look how big this is. These are big guys selling on all the newbies coming in, and AVAX, 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 AVAX. And this is where the trap gets very near at any point. It may sit here for a little while. That's fine. But price usually comes all the way back down here. And if you look at the big guys, for them, you know, if they put 100, they put $10 million or $5 million in, for them to make a quick couple $1 million very quickly. So AVAX, definitely one that I'm looking at later to short. What else we're looking at, guys? I need to jump on the live trading. Hit the like. Don't be a cheaper. Yeah, smash that like button. Smash it. Otherwise, I'm not doing shows anymore, guys. Otherwise, I'll stop. I'm joking. But smash the like button, please. Let's look at GALA games. Yeah, definitely gaming. Gaming is one we want to catch on the next ones. The next pullback. If you want to catch, but you can already see it here. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Be careful with this next pullback, guys. It's going to pull back at some point quite aggressively, and let's wait for the next trend. there is still a possibility of a 1985 Bitcoin, but something's got to go really bad with that for that to actually happen. Let's actually have a look. How's the stock market's doing? Lower high at the moment. How's the Dixie doing? Getting some wicks. Let's see if we get a bounce in the Dixie at any point. So I'm still saying put your alert and warning blinkers on. Be patient. I think we get the buys in the next 2-3 days. I do think we have a good Feb and March. We do still have a good pop, but we need to be very careful on how far this pullback comes, because we did look at this yesterday, which was the cheat sheet, and the cheat sheet was showing us, you know, the pullback, but it matters on where we land here to show if there is another leg. You know, this could be a bad trap that ends things quite ugly at that point. So I would still say if your altcoin loses trend and momentum to the downside and you haven't and you need that money, I would TP out. I'll definitely TP out and look for the next entries. Guys, have a fantastic day. I love you all. I'll see you all on Discord now. I'll see you all on the live trading, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Smash that like button. If you want the Rolex, you know what to do. Look in the description. Have a fantastic day. Much love, Banter fam.